morning, everybody. Welcome to Jubilee Circle. We're so glad that you are here with us this morning here in the building and also out there on the YouTube. We are happy to have you here. Hang on just a second. Okay, let's try that again. That's a little bit better. So good morning. We are so glad to have you here on this this Sunday morning. 2, 3, 4. When the day is long and the night is yours alone. When you're sure you've had enough of this life, well, hang on. Don't let yourself go. Everybody cries and everybody hurts sometimes. Sometimes everything is wrong. It's time to sing along when your day is night alone. Hold on if you feel like letting go. When you think you've had too much of this life, 'cause everybody hurts. Take comfort in your friends. Everybody hurts. Don't throw your head. When you think you've had too much of this life to hang on. Well, everybody hurts sometimes. Everybody cries. Everybody hurts sometimes. Everybody hurts sometimes. So hold Bruce Clark, everybody over there. Everybody, whole band. This is CC and the Recalcitrants. We love our little band here. All right, so welcome again to Jubilee Circle. We're so glad that you're here in the building and you're here with us out there on YouTube. And we are continuing our VIA Positiva theme of, oh, the humanity. And in this VIA, we have been talking about our commonalities as human beings, that original blessing that we all carry within. We always say, oh, the humanity, in such a despairing way, but we don't have to do that. We can embrace our original blessing. According to spiritual teacher Dr. David Hawkins, the lowest vibrational level that human beings can exist in is, anybody got a guess? Shame. That's it, shame or despair. In shame, Hawkins writes in his book, Transcending the Levels of Consciousness, people hang their heads and slink away, wishing they were invisible. This lowest vibration, Hawkins writes, is often used as a tool for cruelty, and its victims often become cruel. Shamed children are cruel to one another, he notes, and he says they compensate by perfectionism and rigidity, becoming driven and intolerant. They often project this shame outward onto others, and they feel very righteous about all of that. Turn on the news for 5 minutes and witness the result of our collective shame in this world. At our lowest vibration collectively, this is where we start wars. This is where we pit ourselves against one another on all manner of perceived differences, such as race, class, politics, gender, sexuality, sexual orientation. But the good news is, of course, that this vibration can be recognized and then raised. Shame, when encountered by a spiritually growing or mature person, can be seen as a warning sign. It can be used in a healthy way to bring more love and more peace and more joy into the world. Shame, you see, is what A Course in Miracles calls a call for love. Everything is either love or a call for love. And if we've been doing our healing work on our own patterns of shame, we're quicker to offer that higher vibration of love whenever we encounter shame, whether it is on the news, from a loved one, or within ourselves. And one of the best ways to bring that higher vibration of love to our feelings of shame is to be in community, where we can feel supported, where our calls for love are always answered in a loving way by a group of people who know the best thing in the world to say at any time is, oh yeah, all right. What? Oh. Shane? Is that what you? Anyway. We begin our Jubilee Circle celebration in the same manner as we do every week by remembering the 4 elements. Yes, please rise as you're able. By remembering the 4 elements, the air and the water and the earth and the fire. And we burn sage as a reminder that this is a safe and a sacred time, and this is a time for us to set our intentions, to set our personal intentions, to step into the embodiment of love and peace and joy, but also our intention for the world, to be that source of love and peace and joy in the world as we encounter it. And we orient ourselves in this sacred time and space by calling the 4 directions. So I invite you to turn and face the east. As each new day begins, Holy One, help us to tune our hearts and our ears to the freshness of each new day. Renew our commitment to listening deeply to the world that you've created around us. Help us not only to hear the beautiful songs of the birds, but also to hear the call for love from our fellow humans, as well as those of all the creation around us. Create in us anew each day the ability to listen to all of creation. Quarter turn to the right and we face the south. Often in the heat of the day, Holy One, we find it hard to deeply listen to the world around us. We're distracted by our own discomfort, by our own need to find a place to cool off and relax. In these unforgiving times, Holy One, attune us to the discomfort of those around us. Help us to find ways to forgive ourselves for our own shortcomings, and also to offer forgiveness to everyone we meet in this day. Quarter turn to the right and we face the west. As the sun sets and the stars rise tonight, Holy One, remind us that Even in dark times, we must remain in a state of deep listening. It's often in those dark times of shame and despair that we shut ourselves away from the world. We refuse to listen to the voices of friends and to you, Holy One, that try to soothe us and assure us that the blessings are always around the corner. In dark times, Holy One, help us to listen ever more deeply for your still, small voice. Quarter turn to the right and we face the north. We seek the wisdom of the North, Holy One, to remind us that even when we catch ourselves simply hearing and not really listening, that we're truly blessed in that moment. Help us to smile when we realize we haven't been listening, because the awareness can bring us right back into presence. Remind us, Holy One, to return again and again from our distractions back to that place of compassionate listening. And as we turn back toward the center and look around the room, you find a bunch of people. We've all struggled with feelings of shame. And we understand that all we need to do really is listen more deeply for that still small voice that assures us that shame never touches our higher divine self. May we in this safe and sacred place then rely on one another to hear our calls for love, to help us remember who we all truly are, innocent children of the holy who can never truly be shamed. And that is a fact that should make us all want to say, oh yeah. All right, get some sage around to everybody. Right. Hey, darling. That's long distance. I can't get past that. There's sage for everybody over there. If y'all remain standing.
Did they max out our mains again?
Yeah, they always do. We have another church that uses on Saturday afternoon, and they apparently rock out. They turn everything up really loud, and the old people get here, and we're like, turn that down! All right. We're going to open this morning with a little James Taylor featuring Bruce Clark over there on his beautiful hummingbird. And I invite you as we sing to greet one another. Say hello.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Gotta look down upon me, Jesus. You gotta help me make a stand. You just got to see me through another day. My body's aching and my time is at hand. And I won't make it any other way. Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. Times when I could not find a friend, but I always thought that I'd see you again. Been walking my mind to an easy time, my back turned towards the sun. Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around. Well, there's hours of time on the telephone line to talk about things to come. Sweet dreams and flying machines and pieces on the ground. Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. that I'd see you, baby, one more time again. Thought I'd see you one more time again. There's just a few things coming my way this time around. Thought I'd see you, fire and rain now.
All right, Bruce Clark, everybody. All right. So again, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us this morning. A little bit about Jubilee Circle. We are a progressive interfaith community here in Columbia, South Carolina. We teach the timeless common wisdom of love and unity that is found in all mainstream religions, metaphysical philosophies, mysticism, and inspired secular and religious leaders and teachers throughout the ages. We use popular music and teachings, weekly celebrations, educational and artistic events, and other community building activities, because what we're trying to do here is create a space for everyone to experience their own deep spiritual transformation so then they can go out and be the transformation that the world is yearning for. And we believe we're all here to expand our souls, to find deeper meaning in life, to renew our commitment to love and peace and justice, to learn how to love wastefully and undergo a transformation from the inside out, to discover how to live more fully in our higher divine self in every moment. We also recognize we're part of God's good creation. We're formed in love and joy, but we humans, we forget this. We slide out of mama and they whack us on the butt, and we look around and we see everything that looks like separation. You're over here and I'm over there, and then the judging begins. Then the grievances begin. We look around and we go, oh, those people are beautiful, those people are ugly, those people are good, those people are bad, those people are generous, those people are stingy, those people are loving, and those people are... What?
Shameful.
Shameful. Well, recalcitrant is usually the word, but yeah, shameful, we can go with that one today. But let us remember our real function here, Jubilants. It is to continually return to the home that we have never left, to make the journey without distance, to be an open channel for the love that created us, and to put that out into the world so everybody gets a chance to say, oh yeah. All right. Okay. A few announcements. I know, yeah, there's some channeling, some monsters up here. All right, so a few announcements as we move forward. Coming up next week, we're going to wrap up our VIA Positiva theme of Oh, the Humanity. We're going to use music from Huey Lewis and the News, and we're going to learn about the compassion of humanity. So that's next week. This Friday is going to be a lot of fun. The Columbia Operatic Laboratory is bringing their sing-along version of The Pirates of Penzance. And so come, and there will be some snacks. And it's $15 at the door, $5 for kids. And they're doing a fundraiser of some sort. And we are going to have light refreshments available for a donation. So come and sing along with the Pirates of Penzance on Friday night. Then on Saturday, the Poetry Society of South Carolina, Tamara Miles is hosting Poetry Trails at Sesquicentennial State Park. Say that 3 times fast. They're going to come together and read and share poems, take a walk in the woods. Enter your poem. They're running a little contest. Danny Sciortino has donated a guitar, so the best poem of the morning wins a guitar. Woohoo! So and bring your instruments and have a good time doing some poetry out at Sesquicentennial on Saturday the 17th. And as always, we have Soundy School at 10:30 on Sunday mornings, and our Course in Miracles group meets on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. here, and there is a Zoom option on that too. And if you've been studying the course for years, you'll enjoy it. If you're brand new, you'll enjoy it, because it's very low key, and we just sit around and read some stuff and enjoy ourselves and learn more about the course and each other. It's a wonderful social evening too. And we're also going to be doing, we did a movie night Friday night, and we're going to do a monthly movie night on the second Friday. We just haven't picked a movie yet for the next movie night. So if y'all have suggestions, we will take requests if they're good movies.
Just
What?
not doing Top Gun.
We're not doing Top Gun. Yeah, we're trying to get some like more metaphysically minded sort of movies that we can talk about afterwards. We did Everything Everywhere All at Once on Friday night, and woo, I love that movie. That's such a fun movie. If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend. You can rent it on Prime Video. It's great. Very metaphysical. Lee and I are like, it's just like the Course in Miracles. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. Choose again. It's all about multiverses and how when we make a choice, another universe springs off, and this woman ends up in all of her universes all at once. It's great.
It's a little like Time Bandits.
It's a little bit like, only good. Yeah,
Only
it's like
better.
Time Bandits, only good.
You didn't like Time Bandits?
That's not one of my favorites.
I love Time Bandits.
Are there any other announcements I missed? Is there anything I missed? Anything else going on? Yes.
Children.
Oh, yes.
We at the Columbia Marionette Theater are now showing Winnie the Pooh. And you don't have to be a kid to like Winnie the Pooh.
Of course not.
It's a new version of the author A.A. Milne's, sorry about that, book. There's 3 stories to it. Our shows are Saturday, 11 a.m., and also 3 p.m. on Saturdays. And the third Monday of the month, we have Marionette Mondays, which is 10 a.m. Your child gets to make a puppet after the show.
Ooh.
So
How old do you have to be for that?
your age,
That sounds fun.
she said, I come join the fun.
All right.
And yeah.
Thanks, Les. All right. Okay, I guess that's it. Hear these wise and holy words. This wise and holy one.
Debatable. From A Course in Miracles, chapter 24. Specialness is the great dictator of the wrong decisions. Here is the grand illusion of what you are and what your brother is. And here is what must make the body dear and worth preserving. Specialness must be defended. Illusions can attack it, and they do. For what your brother must become to keep your specialness is an illusion. He who is worse than you must be attacked, so that your specialness can live on his defeat. For specialness is triumph, and its victory is his defeat and shame. How can he live with all your sins upon him? And who must be his conqueror but you? Would it be possible for you to hate your brother if you were like him? Could you attack him if you realized your journey with him to a goal that is the same? Would you not help him reach it in every which way you could, if his attainment of it were perceived as yours? You are his enemy in specialness, his friend in a shared purpose. From the author and researcher Brené Brown. If you have a petri dish and you have shame in there, this pervasive feeling of not being good enough and not being whatever enough, thin enough, rich enough, popular enough, promoted enough, loved enough, it only needs 3 things to survive in this little petri dish and actually to grow exponentially and creep into every corner and crevice of your life, and that is secrecy, silence, and judgment. If you have the same amount of shame in a petri dish and you douse it with some empathy, you share your story with someone who can hear you and look back at you and say, you're not alone, then shame dies. You've created a hostile environment for those little gremlins who keep saying to you, you're not enough, nothing you do is enough. So I believe with my whole heart that there are only 2 options: to let what scares us stay inside of us and fester and grow and take over everything, or to share it. And from the Buddhist teacher Rinpoche, when one realizes guiltlessness within oneself, one feels freer and lighter. The attachment to the self, which we all have, lifts. We also start to work out our minds better. The mind is more agile and flexible because our intelligence becomes the reference point instead of this self, so we desperately grasp onto. Then we can break down our actions more precisely and work with our actions in more creative ways in the future with more wisdom. In the case of relating to the wrongdoings of others, we see that the nature of their mind is also innocent, guiltless. Ignorance has influenced them, and they are blinded and vulnerable. And because they are helpless under the power of ignorance, it is easier for us to generate compassion for them and forgive them as well. It is much easier to do all this when we see the person as innocent rather than guilty and intrinsically bad.
These are wise and holy words. Thanks be to the holy. All creation is holy word. All creation speaks volumes of the holy. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Our song this morning comes from the Foo Fighters. This is a song called Shame, Shame, and it comes from their 2021 release, Medicine at Midnight. And it features our amazing rhythm section. I'll make you feel something real just to bother you. Now I got you under my thumb like a drug. I will smother you. I'll be the one, be the moon, be the sun, be the rain in your song. Go and put that record on if you want to. I'll be the one, be the tongue that will swallow you. Shame, shame. Shame, 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 shame. Another splinter under the skin, another season of loneliness. I found a reason and buried it beneath the mountain of emptiness. Oh, oh. Yeah. One of my most vivid memories of feeling shame happened about 20 years ago when I was the assistant pastor at what was then MCC Columbia, but which is now Garden of Grace United Church of Christ. The husband of our pastor had just lost his mother to an illness, but in this fateful moment, I had completely forgotten that fact. And I looked him in the eye, and with all the compassion I could muster, I said, "How's your mom doing?" And Kevin, who is a wonderful, caring, and frighteningly quick-witted man, smiled condescendingly at me and said, "She's great because she's dead." I wanted the floor to open up and just swallow me whole in that moment. I felt so ashamed. Here I am, one of the supposed pastors of this church, and I can't even remember whose mother is dead or alive, let alone the mother of the pastor's spouse. I felt like a fraud. I immediately wanted to I wore a collar back in those days. I immediately just wanted to take that off and hand it over, never darken the doorway of a church ever again. But Kevin and his husband, they laughed it off. I came up with some lame excuse about being stupid and forgetful, and they went on their merry way. I, however, stewed in my own juices of shame for the rest of the day. And later, while I was driving somewhere else that afternoon, I got a call from our music director. And I was in no mood to speak to anyone, so I let it go to voicemail. And then later I listened back to it, and I again was shamed and horrified because he and his husband left a message about how they had witnessed this little event, and they were in tears laughing about it. In my mind, they were calling to make fun of me, to laugh at me. In their minds, they were calling to commiserate and laugh with me, because surely I could laugh at my own foibles. Oh boy, were they wrong. I called them back, And I immediately dressed them down for daring to laugh at this shameful situation. They apologized, of course, they're good guys, but they didn't understand why I felt such utter shame. They assured me nobody was offended. Kevin laughed it off. These things happen. Why not just move on? And I wasn't ready, of course, to let any of that go. Because one of the hardest things we will ever do as human beings is love ourselves enough to forgive ourselves when we feel we've crossed some line, which of course others don't see that you've crossed any line. My shame in this situation, though, it made me special in that moment. And my ego wanted to roll around in this specialness, this sense of being super shamed, so much that I was rethinking my entire career choice was just what the ego needed to take me down this path, make me leave my work in the church, stop speaking, stop writing, stop preaching, don't do anything, go get in your hole. And that certainly would be the ego's goal, to keep me so shamed that I never spoke up again, gave up my whole life's work. As a reading from A Course in Miracles tells us this morning, and I love this line so much, specialness is the great dictator of wrong decisions. Specialness is the great dictator of wrong decisions. And shame can be a form of specialness that we use to hold ourselves apart from our higher divine self and those around us. We use the specialness we feel in shame to amplify our own suffering and separate ourselves from others who we fully believe cannot and will not ever accept us in our shame. And when our ego gets to this place, it moves to the next stage, which is projection. Specialness, of course, says must be defended. Illusions can attack it, and they do. For what your sibling must become to keep your specialness is an illusion. The one who is worse than you must be attacked, so that your specialness can live on their defeat. For specialness is triumph, and its victory is their defeat and shame. And I defended my shame in that moment and projected it when I sought to shame the music director and his husband for laughing at me. I felt attacked by them, so I attacked right back. Shame, shame, it had me under its thumb, like a drug smothering me. It had become the tongue that had swallowed me whole. And I am not alone, I'm sure, in being constantly devoured by my shame. Everyone has this. If you reflect on your own lives, you will find many moments when you have felt shame. And I dare say that many of us are still using those moments of shame to create a sense of specialness in our suffering. When those feelings of shame gets triggered, instead of using that trigger to recognize and heal our own shame, we just project it out. We shame others so we don't have to deal with our own pain, with our own wounds. So how do we get out from under that egoic thumb of shame? We embrace our shame. Not by trying to bring the illusion of shame to truth, but by bringing the truth of love to that illusion. Breathe deeply. Nothing wrong until we meet again. I'll be the air. I'll be the war at your door. Come and let me in. I'll be the one, be the moon, be the sun, be the rain in your song. Go and put that record on if you want to. I'll be the one, be the tongue that will swallow you. Another splinter under the skin. Another season of loneliness. I found a reason and buried it beneath the mountain of emptiness. Oh, Perhaps one of the most difficult things to understand about A Course in Miracles is its instruction to bring truth to illusion, and not the other way that we think about it, bringing our illusion to truth. So let's use shame as an example. Our usual way of dealing with shame is to acknowledge it in some way. For example, we may say to ourselves, everybody feels shame at some point. It's just a part of human nature, but I can forgive myself and move on. So in this way, when we say that, we're attempting to bring our illusion to truth by making the shame something real, something that we have, something we can build an identity around as a shameful person. According to A Course in Miracles, this is completely backwards. To bring the truth to illusion, then, goes something like this. I am as God created me, which is innocent. I am peace. I am love. I am joy. And as such, shame is something that my true nature is even incapable of feeling, let alone allowing it to become an identity. Everyone in their higher divine self is innocent and incapable of shame. I am not someone who can be shamed. As a spirit living in a bodily world, I can experience it. It's part of my curriculum for learning, but I am never truly shamed. The difference is that the first thought, everyone experiences shame, while seeming to unify us with others around this commonality of shame, it increases separation in reality because it creates a sense of specialness. Everyone experiences shame is the beginning of the thought, but then the ego creeps in and says, but mine is worse. Or it creeps in and says, that other person has way more to be ashamed of than me. Right? That's never happened to anybody in this room, right? Then we're right into projection and attack. But if we begin at the truth instead of the illusion, if we begin at the truth, I am love and so is everyone else, now we're trafficking in unity. Because in other words, we begin at our original blessing, not at our original sin. If we can see the innocence within ourselves, then we can see it in others. And shame becomes just another illusion that we learn from, instead of something that we believe that we are. Bringing truth to illusion in this way, according to the Venerable Zygar Kongtrul Rinpoche, which is what Beth didn't want to have to say. Right. I probably didn't say it right. But as he notes, bringing truth to illusion in this way makes us feel lighter and freer because it loosens the ego's grip on us. So we can use our minds more skillfully to create unity instead of separation. When we look at others and we see the truth about them, we see their innocence. Rinpoche says, now we can see how this practice of trying to bring illusions to truth produces ignorance. And because they are helpless under the power of ignorance, Rinpoche says, it's easier for us to generate compassion for them and forgive them as well. It is much easier to do all of this, he says, when we see the person as innocent rather than guilty and intrinsically bad. As we bring truth to our illusions, we feel lighter and freer. And then we can use our minds to see the truth about shame and how it can ultimately become a source of healing instead of keeping us wounded if we approach it in a proper manner. The Buddha taught the value of shame when we use it, not as a way to feel pity for ourselves or superior in our shame, which is bringing illusion to truth, but as a tool to keep us in our integrity, which is bringing truth to illusion. Used this way, the Buddha says that shame is a bright guardian and a treasure. Ooh. Shame is a bright guardian and a treasure. Let's unpack that for a minute. Buddhist monk Thanasario Bhikkhu, did you want to say that one? Okay. Says the Buddha talks about, yeah, right. Instead of seeing shame as something to lower our self-esteem, we can use it as a boost because it becomes the invitation to investigate our thoughts and live more wisely in the world as someone who does not harm others or themselves through their thoughts or deeds. One of the best practices to transform shame into that bright guardian and treasure is a method that was developed by Buddhist teacher Tara Brach and it goes by the 4 letters RAIN, R-A-I-N. So when we begin to feel shame or any other strong emotion, the first step is to recognize it, noting that it is there. And remember, we've talked about this before. Whenever shame wells up within us, we do not say, I feel shame, because it's not ours. It's not part of our innate nature. Shame arises. Don't make it yours. It's not yours. It's just an emotion. Shame arises. Next, you simply allow that feeling. Allow its space to exist. You're not trying to fix anything. You're not trying to avoid anything. This allowing is what helps you deepen your attention and awareness of what you're feeling. So next, so you recognize it, you allow it to be there. Next, you investigate the thought, the I. Investigate the thought or emotion. You may ask questions such as, how am I experiencing this in my body? Shame is arising. What does it feel like? What am I believing in this moment? Or what does this vulnerable place want from me? This emotion is arising. Question it. Investigate it. Finally, nurture yourself in this moment with self-compassion. So we've recognized it. We've allowed it, R-A. We investigate it, the I. Now we nurture. Nurture yourself in this moment with self-compassion. What will help you to heal? Do you need reassurance, forgiveness, companionship? Brock suggests placing your hand on your heart or on your cheek and envisioning yourself bathed in warm, radiant light, or imagine the love and wisdom of a trusted friend or advisor flowing through you. Nurture yourself. Shame is not you. You are not shame. You are innocent. You are beloved. Shame cannot touch you. If we bring shame through this RAIN process, the heaviness begins to lift. We can begin to see the value in this moment, the gifts that shame might offer us. We can also see that though we've made mistakes in the past that brought feelings of shame, our investigation of our thoughts and feelings, we can use that to rectify our mistakes and to learn from them. Probably the best way to recognize and heal our shame, though, according to Brene Brown, is in community. As Brown says, shame left in silence and secrecy and judgment thrives. But if we have a community where we can be vulnerable enough to talk about the things that we're feeling shame over, Brown says, that's the best way to bring truth to your illusion of shame. Bhikkhu agrees. He says that the Buddha taught the importance of a sangha, a community of what he calls admirable friends who can receive your stories of shame with grace and love and help us see them as only temporary mistakes and not something that defines us. So when I reflect back on my story of shame, I can see in that moment the music director and her husband were offering me this, they were offering me this sangha. They were offering me this community. They had always been my admirable friends who helped me in my own journey to remember my own original blessing. And in this moment, though I was so blinded by my own shame, I refused their offer of laughing off the mistake. Instead, I made it my identity and attacked them from my pain. So I ask you this morning, Jubilants, where are you identifying with your shame this morning? Where are you trying to bring that illusion to truth instead of seeking to bring truth to that illusion? Where are you refusing the company of admirable friends who seek to just bring that truth to you so you can see that shame is not your identity, but it's a gift that's trying to teach you who you truly are? You are an innocent child of the universe who is part of a beloved community of admirable friends. Every thought, every emotion, every experience that we are having in this bodily life, Jubilants, it is our teacher. And just as any student does, we make mistakes. But there is absolutely no shame in mistakes. There is only opportunity to once again bring truth to that illusion and remember who you truly are. You are not your shame. You are not your anger. You are not your despair. You are not any emotion that your ego may try to build an identity upon. In any moment of strong emotion, I invite you, jubilants, remember your original blessing. We may all deal with shame, but there is not one of us who is shameful. Our commonality is not found in our experience of shame. Our commonality is found in our innocence, in our original blessing. Identifying with our shame makes us feel special, and it only projects more shame into the world. We become enemies to one another in this specialness, but a course says we become friends in our shared purpose. That shared purpose is to remember our innocence and become that channel for love and peace in the world. So let us today, jubilants, resolve to be a community of admirable friends to one another. Let us resolve to be gentle with each other, to invite each other to be vulnerable, a place where we can admit our mistakes, not so they can be held over our heads, but so that they can be bathed in love and healed and forgiven. This is how we bring truth of love to our illusion of shame. And when we create a community that understands that and offers ultimate healing and commonality in our innocence and our original blessing, that's when we all will find ourselves saying, oh yeah. 6, 7, 8. Another splinter under the skin. Another season of loneliness. I found a reason and buried it beneath the mountain of emptiness. Oh, I want a special thanks to the rhythm section here. Beth Dehart worked very hard on trying to do Taylor Hawkins. Oh my. And Keith Edwards over here on bass, getting it as well as he got it. And of course, Bruce Clark
Who
over
missed
here.
rehearsal Thursday.
I love this band. Michael Sprinkles Reisman over there playing two things at once, and on the beautiful viola, and Leslie Gilroy back up singing. And this is not Trisha. This is Camille. Trisha is not with us today, and Camille is filling in and doing a fine job over there. So thank you so much for. This is an amazing band. Amazing band. All right. I invite you in this meditation time. I invite you in this meditation time. What does your shame have to teach you? How can you use it as a lesson in remembering who you are instead of seeing yourself? Whatever brings you shame, stop doing it. Wise words from Bob this morning. But if you, and some people do like their shame, and that really is an important thing. Some people do like their shame, and they like their shame because it makes them feel special. And what was that about specialness? Being the great.
It
What?
separates people. Is that what it is?
Oh, what is it? It's that great line. It's that great line of dictator of wrong decisions. Yes. Yes. Specialness is the great dictator of wrong decisions. We don't see that in the world anywhere. It's just rare.
One number, 45.
Specialness. Where are you allowing your specialness? Where are you allowing shame to make you special? How can you bring truth to that illusion? Remember your innocence. Shame may arise, but it is not who you are, and it never will be. I invite you this morning, meditate and release that shame, because it is not yours. Breathe deeply. Often one of the main tools that churches and religions use is shame when they ask you for money. They try to play off of feelings of guilt and shame that you should be doing more to support this community, this group of admirable friends. We don't like to shame around here. We like cheerful givers, those who understand that the only reason Jubilee Circle exists is because it is supported by the people in the room, by people who are watching us, sometimes by people who've never heard of us, but they send money. It's amazing. And so it is with gratitude and a grateful heart that we ask, again, every week, for your support. You know, the reality of the world is you got to have money. You got to pay the light bill. You got to pay the rent. And so we ask for donations every week to make all that happen. Pass that around. And as the basket goes around here, you can, as you're watching on YouTube, you can go to jubileecircle.com, and there is a donate button there, and you can donate either through Venmo, you can donate through PayPal, and if you're here in the room, on the back of your lyric sheet are QR codes that you could just point your phone at and give online. So we try to make it as simple as possible. So Venmo or PayPal, or you can write an old-fashioned check and send it to Post Office Box 4611, Columbia, South Carolina 29240. All right, and so now is the time for us to say goodbye to our folks who are watching us on YouTube, and we thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you will join us again next week, same channel, same time. Until then, remember the words of Meister Eckhart: if the only prayer you ever say your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. Because when we are in a state of gratitude, we have no grievances, we have no shame, we become shameless in the best possible way, because we understand that we are walking in gratitude. Love is the way we walk in gratitude, A Course in Miracles says. And when we say thank you from that place, that is the only prayer we ever need to say. And so we say thank you And we say, oh yeah.
yeah.
We'll see you next week.